Hello gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Spelunking. And I've been looking forward to this episode for a while now because I am eager to continue my, you could say, long-running Star Wars campaign featuring Nash, Duncan, smuggler, scoundrel, and flyer for hire, and his companion in battle, his now love interest, and I don't know if you could already say girlfriend, but his romantic partner and crew member and partner in business, Rhya, mysterious Eldridian shadow huntress from the Council of Elders. And this will be season 3 of my Star Wars campaign, Adventures in the Keldor sector. We will stay in the Keldor sector at least for a while, and it has sort of become a little bit of a tradition that I feature a different rule set every season. So my first season started with my Shadow Dark version. Second season started with Star Knave, but then I switched over to test out my Starships and Blasters, which was based on Delves and Dangers by Mage Hammer. And now in this third season, I will be using a converted Forge engine. So check out my video I did on converting Forge to Space Opera. And also pick up the original. I will link it in the description. So this is the document that I will be using, the D20 Space Opera engine. And you can pick this up in my community tabs, this PDF document. And this is what we will be using. And once again, I'm pretty happy because I finally, and I don't know why I didn't do this before, hyperlinked this document so that you can easily navigate it by tapping on the page number to get back to the table of contents. So it probably is not really a hassle even using this PDF at the table if I need to look something up or check something or whatever. So this is what we will be doing, and I have to admit, Rhya and Nash, they have sort of become my favorite characters because I've been with them for a while now. So should they for any reason die, I would be pretty sad. But I saw a video recently by Geek Gamers when she was playing a gnome, and she said this is like her gnome that she keeps reviving. So I think if these characters die, I will probably, if I start a new Star Wars series, use these characters again, but then of course starting again at level 1. Let's think of it as these characters exist in different parallel alternate universes, sort of like Star Trek style, where there are infinite parallel universes with alternative timelines. So then we would just switch to an alternative timeline, because I think I have become quite attached to these characters. But so far they're not dead yet, and I hope it stays that way. And so they are level 4 at the moment. So I've bumped them up to level 4. And we ended the last season after we completed a delivery for the Rebel Alliance, and we ended on an out-of-the-way planet. Let me get the map out here. This is the Keldor sector map. And our last adventure of the last season, or last episode of the last season, had us here in Gold Rock. And Gold Rock, we determined this in the very beginning when we created this sector. Gold Rock is an unremarkable dump that features nothing of interest. It is dominated by rugged hills and barren plateaus, but also foggy swamps. And we had to basically calculate a completely new hyperspace route to get there, because as you can see here, there are no hyperspace lanes leading to Gold Rock. Gold Rock was abandoned by a mining corporation after they lured settlers there with the prospect of mining the natural resources, but then it turned out that it wasn't as resource rich as the initial surveys had indicated. So they basically left the settlers there stranded, and this was a couple of generations ago. So now it is an unremarkable dump at the edge of the Keldor sector, but an ideal planet also maybe for some rebel operatives. And our rebel contact that we delivered battle droids for in the last season is a female Twi'lek named Tula. And she's got a bounty on her head, which we realized because if you remember, this Mandalorian bounty huntress Rhya Vess, she's pretty tough and a recurring villain. She attacked us in the Shadowport, the den, and we barely escaped. And let me get Tula out here because we might, this is Tula, our rebel contact, and she offered us to work for the Alliance either as smugglers or as privateers, which means it would provide us probably with a steady stream of income and missions, also for a good cause, without going through all the hassle of trying to obtain smuggling jobs from various seedy criminal elements. So this is not actually a bad thing, but we told her we will think about it. I have to discuss it with Rhya, and basically the last episode of the last season ended with Nash asking Rhya, so do you want to work, or do we want to work for the Alliance? All right, so because we are playing Star Wars, I'm not using my solo spelunking mug. I got my Rhya Cloudshadow of Eldred mug that I did for myself. And so I'm using this mug when I'm playing Star Wars. Okay, so Tula, she told us, that we of course can think about it, but not too long, because she will only be here for another day, because she's got other important business to attend to, probably for the Alliance. And just to set the scene a little so that you get an impression of what Gold Rock and we are, let's see, we are in a limited service starport in Gold Rock. Did I write down how this starport city is called? I don't think so. Let me see. Do I have anything here? Gold Rock. No, but because it's an unremarkable dump and it was abandoned, it is safe to assume that there's only one spaceport city there. As a matter of fact, there's really only one larger settlement. It has a low population. And so let's call, I make it easy on myself. So let's call this spaceport city, because it was an old mining city. Let's call it Prospect Central, and this is like the starport city. I'm writing this down here in my log or my journal. The starport city. It has a limited service starport, which means very limited services. Not really a traffic control, just one control tower, several smaller docking bays, only basic restock facilities, etc. So limited service starport. And let's just say it has around 300,000, so still quite a few. No, that is too much. Let's say it's got about 40,000 inhabitants. So a small former mining city. All right, so Yeah, speaking of, we want to get so that you get an impression. This is basically what the cityscape looks like. So it is, you can see it is dusty. There are those plateaus and barren rocks in the distance, and it has like a very dusty, worn feel to it. And there are docking bays surrounding this sort of like city square, and this is so that you have an impression how this looks like. This is the scenery in Prospect Central on Gold Rock. Okay, so yeah, so let's get back to our dialogue here. So Rhya, she answers, or she says, well, actually, I'm not opposed to working for the Alliance. As a matter of fact, I can't see any drawbacks or downsides. I mean, we have worked against the Empire in the past. If I think of our last mission recovering Naira out of Imperial custody, so we are probably, I don't know if they have identified us, but we are probably on their bad side anyways. And you know what I think about the Empire, and I think you do the same. So if we don't have the hassle of trying to acquire a job and know who we are working for and what we are working for, I think it would not be a bad thing, at least not working for them in the transport or smuggling department. I don't know about you, but I'm not very fond of this privateering idea. And Nash goes, well, Rhya, exactly my thoughts. I wouldn't consider privateering, even though it is sanctioned piracy. It is still piracy, and I mean, who is it sanctioned by? I mean, the Rebel Alliance. They're not in power and not in office yet, so, and I don't know. I mean, we can hope, but I don't know they ever will be. So for me, this is still piracy, and those people's working, those freighters, they're just normal people trying to get by, doing their job, working for a company. And I don't want to take the risk of causing death and injury to people just doing their job. So I mean, piracy is still piracy, and that is something I am opposed to. But as you said, smuggling is smuggling, and I mean, if I can work for the Alliance instead of some seedy crime lord, I rather take the Alliance. However, I don't know about their pay rates. I think it would be more, or it would probably be more lucrative if we would continue working freelance. However, in my opinion, we are not signing a contract here. I mean, the Alliance, they will be a steady source of income, but we're not obligated to work exclusively for them. And I think if the Council of Elders demands your services, that would take precedence anyways. So we can gladly tell Tula that we are interested in working for the Alliance as smugglers, and I'm not opposed to taking on another assignment. But it'll not be an exclusive contract. And even though they pay a little bit less, I think you're right. The hassle, or not having the hassle of trying to find a job in the first place, and then you don't know, can you trust the client? Is it a rip deal? Do they pay you? Do they double cross you? I mean, these are also things to consider. So yeah, I think we can do it. We should do it. Why not? Let's do it. All right then, let's do it. Let's tell her. Yeah, well, that was quick. So I get my comlink out. We exchanged com codes, and I call her. She responds, Tula here. and I go, well, it's Nash. That was quick. Rhya and I, we have conferred, and I'm happy to report that we will gladly work for the Alliance to restore the Republic as independent and freelance cargo haulers, if you get my meaning. And we are ready to take on a next assignment if you happen to have one for us. And she goes, well, that is great. Great news. I knew I could count on you. And as a matter of fact, I already have need of your service. Why don't you meet me in 2 hours, 1700 hours? Let's say it is 1500 hours now. Why don't you meet me at 1700 hours at the Dust Ball Cantina, and then we will discuss all the details. All right, 1700 hours, Dust Ball Cantina, I can do that. One last question. I know there's not much here, but do you have any contacts here, or do you know of any starship mechanics that have the means of making a few of the book's modifications and upgrades? Because I think it would benefit our cause if I could pour some funds in my vessel to get it beefed up a little bit. I got some things in mind that I want to do. This is difficult here, but let me see. So all right, so I'm just rolling percentile dice, basically like an oracle roll. I give it a 35% because this is limited services, and of the way I'll give it 35% chance of a yes that she knows someone. 60, no. Damn it. Right, and she goes, no, sadly there's no one here. I mean, the starport offers basic repairs, but this is just indeed the basic stuff. It can repair hull damage, it can refuel you, it can replenish your consumables, but nothing more than that. No modifications, no upgrades. Sorry. You got to do this on a different planet. But we can talk about this in the cantina, because where I need you to go, you might be able to find what you need. However, as most of our missions are, this is the assignment is time sensitive, so maybe you complete the assignment first, but I'll give you a few pointers who to talk to for your upgrades. All right then. We'll see you at 1700 hours. And Rhya goes, huh, you want to upgrade the ship? Yes, I do. So little OOC information here. So if you've picked up some of my products like Starduck or Starnave, you know, and even in this, I think even in this SOE version as well, I always have the section of sample ships there, and there's always like my serial number filed off version of the Millennium Falcon, which is the Never Too Late, the famous freighter flown by Nash Duncan. At least this is always what the flavor text says. But the versatile rust bucket that I'm flying right now, I mean, it is far from being the Never Too Late. So of course my goal is to upgrade my ship to these specs as well, and then I will get a different transponder code and rechristian it Never Too Late. But we're not there yet. I'm still flying the versatile rust bucket, my old YR1080 light freighter, but I already increased my hyperdrive and my handling. But I still need to boost my handling further, to improve my speed, and upgrade my weapons, basically everything. So this is also like a long-term goal. Whenever I got enough funds, to pour them into the ship, so that eventually the versatile rust bucket can become the never too late. So Rhya goes, so you want to upgrade the ship? Yeah, of course I do. I mean, we already improved hyperdrive and handling, but there's still room for more. I mean, I haven't gotten 1 inch faster in the sublight speed department yet. I still got the basic dual laser turret that is factory installed, and yeah, every smuggler worth his weight wants to improve his ship, of course. And since the ship is also our home, I think we would benefit from it being top notch. But sadly, this all costs a lot of money. But thanks to our last assignment, I got a few credits in my pocket to pour into the ship. And then Rhya goes, well, not only you have credits in your pocket, I have credits as well. And as you said, our ship is also our home now. And the better the ship, the safer we are. So I'll gladly do my part and contribute some of my funds to upgrading the ship. You know, and she looks at me, I've also grown a little fond of it, having spent so much time on board. And Nash smiles and goes, well, I hope it's not only the ship, but also the company that you have grown fond of. And she looks at me and smiles and goes, well, you have 2 hours to convince me that I've not made a mistake. And she tilts her head slightly. And I go, 2 hours, huh? I can do that. All right, there's a little cut. I leave it to your imagination what we are doing these 2 hours. And then at 1700 hours, we arrive at the Dust Ball Cantina. It's nothing special. It is like you would imagine one of those watering holes on a desolate, abandoned mining planet. So it's not very crowded. It's dimly lit. It features a few booths and cheap liquor. And so we meet Tula in the booth. Let me get a picture. Actually, let's see, this looks almost too fancy, but it'll do. Right, so we are in the Dust Ball Cantina. And yeah, it's like a watering hole, and we take a seat on one of the booths, and Tula goes, well, that was quick, and I'm glad that you decided to work for us. There are a couple of things we need to discuss. And she hands me over a little square module that I identify as some sort of communications array. And she goes, well, this module here, you need to plug it into your comm system. Once you plug it into your comm system, it will synchronize with your transponder code of your ship and imprint this transponder code in its hardware so that it can't be used on any other vessel, unless one of our Alliance technicians reset it. And this COM module carries a special identification signal, an encrypted identification signal that we call Code Quasar. It is a special Alliance identification beacon that ensures that when you approach our hidden bases or drop-off locations, that you are identified as basically a vessel operating or working for the Alliance, so that we don't by accident blow you out of the sky. And it also gives you access to special decrypted frequencies and encoded frequencies to communicate with your contacts depending on what kind of mission you are doing or where you have to go. All right, nice. Yeah, and so I look at the connectors and go, yeah, well, this seems pretty straightforward. So I just plug it into the hyperspace transceiver array. That correct? Yes, that is correct. All right then. What else? Anything else? Yes. And she hands me a data card. And this data card, as you might have known, it was probably or might have experienced, it was quite a hassle to get here because there are no known hyperspace routes. Well, on this data card, you will find astrogation data that you can feed into your Navicomputer for a secret hyperspace route calculated and traveled by the Alliance, which takes you from Gold Rock to the Lee Rock system, and from there you will have access to the other hyperspace routes. So let me show it to you on the map. So this is why I made this not a solid line, but like a dotted line. So this is the Alliance hyperspace route that's included in this data card, the astrogation data for it. It'll take us 5 hours to get to Lee Rock, multiplied by our hyperspace multiplier, of course. And then from here, we are connected to the other routes. We can, of course, try to calculate a completely new route if we want to get someplace else. But as you know, this is dangerous, difficult, and not without risk. And it also results in longer travel times. So yeah, that's a good option to have. Okay. So that is great. All right, so now we have our identifier module, we have our astrogation data. So what about the job? Yes, the job. All right, your first mission, or what I would like you to do, is to travel to Peron. There you have to make contact with a Gotel, a male Gotel. Well, he's not one of the nice types. He's a crime syndicate lieutenant operating on Peron, or a lieutenant for a crime syndicate operating on Peron. But sadly, we are forced to work with people like him. And there you will pick up 10 crates of blaster rifles, 5 crates of medical supplies, military medical supplies, and 5 crates of body armor, combat body armor. So a total of 10 crates of military equipment that we need: blaster rifles, armor, and medical supplies. And then you are to deliver these supplies to our cell on the planet Lee Rock. And you will find the coordinates to this camp on the astrogation data I gave you, And when you enter the system, just transmit code Quasar and contact them on that frequency, and they will take it from there. Okay. Yeah, sounds pretty straightforward. Go to Peron, talk to the Godel. I guess it's all been already arranged. We just need to pick up the cargo and deliver it to your people on Lee Rock. But what about payment? Yes, payment, of course. We will pay you 7,000 credits for this delivery. You will get paid by our people on Lee Rock. And don't let them fool you. It is all arranged with a Gotel, so it's all been prepaid. He just has to give you, hand over the crates, deliver the cargo, so there's nothing you need to pay him. You just pick up the cargo and deliver it, and we will pay you 7,000 credits once you have delivered the cargo. All right, pretty straightforward. And what about those contacts regarding modifications on my ship? Yes, we have a contact on Peron that we have worked with also to orchestrate this deal with this criminal syndicate. It's a let me roll, male or female. So as you know, even is always female, odd is always male, no matter what die. It is a male, because I rolled a 7, it's a male Trandoshan called Marsk. And he's a technician. He operates a small repair shed on Peron, and he can probably help you out with your needs. All right, so you got a com code of this guy by any chance? Yes, I do. But like I said, he operates a normal repair shed. You will find it in the planetary datanet. What you don't find in the datanet is that he also makes of the book modifications, but this is what I tell you. I'm not going to give him his com number because I wouldn't want people giving out my com number as well. So you got to contact him. If you contact him, you can tell him Tula sent you, and you can take it from there and conduct your business with him. Yeah, all right, sounds fair. All right, let me make a quick note. Tula told us about mech contact on Peron. Male Trandoshan, Marsk, with 2A and 2R, Marsk. On about Mechan, Marsk, male Trandoshan. Okay. All right, so I guess we are done here then, huh? Indeed. So you got my com number, and yeah, I wish you luck on your first assignment. Thank you. Well, I hope I'll see you soon. We stay in touch. And then she leaves. And then I go, well, sounds pretty straightforward, but there's one thing. Peron, if I remember correctly, is also a wretched hive of scum and villainy, just like Calcareous. And that is actually correct because, if you remember, when I created the sector, Peron is a wretched hive of scum and villainy, and I just rewatched this episode to get me back on track regarding the information. So Peron was devastated by natural disasters. There were massive volcanic eruptions and tectonic shifts which resulted in 2/3 of the planet's surface being uninhabitable, massive loss of lives, civil order basically collapsed, and there are 5 cities remaining in the last third of the planet that is still habitable. The atmosphere is pretty polluted, so there are breath masks suggested, not required, but suggested. And there are crime syndicates operating on Peron, and they're sort of like in a crime war with the factions of Calcareous, which is controlled by a Hutt cartel, and they're constantly fighting about expanding their influence in the Keldor sector. So it's also a pretty rough and tumble place, just like Calcareous was. And this is where we need to go. All right then, let's go. So let's just say, so we get a drink, we have some dinner. So this little exchange with Tula was almost like real time. So let's say we are back in our ship at 1800 hours, and we lift off and head for the hyperspace jump point, which is the edge of the planet's gravity well. All right, and this is a low security system, but also a low population system. So I'm rolling if there's an encounter on our way to the jump point, but I'll give it only a 1 in 6 chance, because for obvious reasons this is way out of the way. So if I roll a 1, there will be an encounter. No, it's a 4. So as expected, traffic is sparse, and we make the jump to light speed using this route. So we need to get to Lerock, then to Keldor, to Vilas, and then to Peron. So it's a total of 5, 7, plus 4, that is 11, plus 2, that is 13 hours, and then at half again, because 1.5, so 13 and 6.5 is 19.5 hours. 19.5 hours, 19.5 hours to get to Peron. So, and by my solo RPG framework for space opera games, you gotta make 1 encounter check every started 10 hours. So that'll be 2 encounter checks if anything happens during hyperspace, and it is a 1 in 10 chance, because hyperspace encounters are rare. So if I roll a 1 on any of these dice, there will be an encounter. 7 and 5, no. All right, so yeah, we spent our 19.5 hours working out and training and relaxing, and yeah, spend some quality time with each other, and then we arrive in Peron. So before we arrive, I tell Rhya, well, Rhya, like I said, Peron seems like a rough and tumble place. We are almost there. I want to be safe. So would you please already man the turret and get the guns ready, just in case there's a nasty surprise waiting for us? Of course. So she heads for the main gunwale, and I'm looking at the counter ticking down, and then as it reaches 0, I revert out of hyperspace into real space, close to the planet Peron in the Peron system. All right, so let's see. It is a 3 in 6 chance, because it is a low security system, because it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. So it is low security. And we have already determined what the planet looks like. So volcanic eruptions, polluted atmosphere, tectonic shifts. So 1, 2, or 3, there's an encounter. 4, there's no encounter. So lucky us, no encounter. So we head for, let's see, I said there are 5 cities remaining. So we set a course for Peron Prime. Peron Prime features a standard class starport, but there's not much in terms of traffic control or regulations, because this is like a lawless planet. Wretched hive of scum and villainy. Civil order has collapsed. So we land in the starport of Peron Prime. And oh, did she tell me the name of the male goatel? No. The name is Kelis. Kelis. Okay. So we land, and she has given me, I didn't know if I said it, but she has given me a com code of this Kelis guy to conduct business. So as soon as we have landed, I'm activating my com link, entering the com code, and see if anyone answers. And sure enough, after 2 or 3 beeps, I hear an unfriendly voice in basic with an accent. Yes. And those of you who don't know what a goatel is, these are these horned aliens. So this is a goatel. So I hear this voice, yes. And I go, Nash Duncan here to pick up the delivery. You know what I'm talking about, the 10 crates for our mutual acquaintance? Ah, yeah, the crates. Oh, I forgot. Let me see what time it is. I usually determine my arrival time with a D20 and a D4. So we arrived at 7 a.m. 4 and 3, I just add them. 7 a.m. All right, so arrived. Peron, 7 a.m. Well, it's early, and I still got some business to conduct. Meet me at 10 o'clock at these coordinates. It's an old factory lot outside of town, big enough for you to land there, and then you can pick up the crates. All right, 10 o'clock factory lot, got it. Yeah, sending the coordinates now. Okay. So, Rhya, what do you say? We got 3 hours. We are here. I think we should make use of these 3 hours and make contact with this Marsk guy. Can't hurt to get some information regarding prices and what's possible. Yeah, why not? So we look up this repair shed of Marsk's in the data core data net, and then we head over there. And now I gotta see, because it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, if there's anything happening on our way there. It's a 2 in 6 chance. 4, no. All right, so we head over there. Let me get a picture so that you can get an idea of this planet, how it looks, and the city. So this is all pretty desolate. All right, so this is basically how this planetary surface looks. So you can see that there's still volcanic eruptions going on. The atmosphere is very polluted with ashes and clouds. And this here is the outline of the city, Peron Prime, where we have landed. So this is that you get an impression of the planet and how it looks like on Peron. So pretty desolate. And we make our way to this repair shed, and yeah, don't drag it out too long. So we tell this Mars guy that Tula sent us, that we are working for her, that she's a mutual acquaintance, and that we need to have some things done on our ship. And I tell him it's a YR-1080 Corellian light freighter. And the good thing about those Corellian ships, they're all pretty modular and easy to modify. So long story short, yes, he is able to help me out with modifications, and he wants me to tell him what I want to get done. All right, and so I want to get my handling improved by 1, from +1 to +2. And I want to get my dual laser cannon upgraded and boosted. Okay, so by my starship modification rules that are in my Starships of the Galaxy supplement, it is 6,000 credits for 1 point of handling. However, I'm already at +1, so I make it 8,000. And for the guns, it'll be the new die value times 1,000. So I'm at a D6 now. If I want a D8, it'll be 8,000, and 8,000, that will be 16,000. However, I don't have that much. Rhya's got 9. Oh yeah, I do. 9 + 7, but then we're almost broke. So he gives us the numbers, and I talk to Rhya, and I go like, well, you heard the man. If we want to improve our gun turret and the handling, it'll set us back 16,000. I gotta admit, I don't have that many funds. So what about you? Yeah, well, I could pour in about 8,000, because I still need something for, I don't know, maybe we need to bribe someone, or it never hurts to have some money handy. All right, then I guess we can't have it all done. So what about then? Let's improve the handling by 1 and the sublight speed by 1. This should also give us an edge in case we need to run, or if there's like a chase. Because it's better to not get hit and get away, I think, than to improve the guns, at least at this point. Well, you're the expert, Nash. I trust your piloting abilities, and if you say you need handling to keep us safe and speed, then that's what we're gonna get. All right, so then we make the deal. So long story short, it'll be 8,000 for the handling plus 5,000 for the speed improvement by 1 unit. That'll be 13,000. I tell him that he should get the parts because we still need to do something, but when we're done with our assignment, we will be back. Okay, so yeah, we exchange com codes. And then at 10 a.m., we go back to the ship, we land at this factory lot, and we meet up with the Gotel. So this is like the factory lot, an abandoned or decommissioned factory area outside of town, where we basically just land like on a flat paved surface. And now the question is, does everything work out as planned? And it'll be 50-50. Because these shifty types, there's always something. So 50% chance that everything goes as planned. And if I roll over 50, there's some sort of complication. $98, and by my rules, this is an exceptional no, because the top 5% of the scale and lowest 5 are like exceptional results. So the question was, does everything go as planned? And of course, it is an exceptional no. So we are here in this factory lot, and the Godel goes, well, glad you could make it. But we have a little problem. I'm looking at Rhya. She's looking at me. And yeah, we look back at him. So please enlighten us. What is the problem? Well, the price for the crates has doubled. So before we can hand over the crates, you need to pay us the same amount your people already paid. I look at Rhya, I look back at him, and I go, seriously now, this can't be happening. We were told that it was all paid in full. Yes, but we had some unexpected difficulties obtaining the goods, and these difficulties, they caused us to have more expenses than we thought. So we have to to collect this from you, otherwise it wouldn't be profitable. Well, I think this is your risk. If you messed up acquiring the goods, I don't see why we have to pay for it. And so I would kindly ask you to hand over these goods so that we can conduct further business in the future. Let's just not make this very first encounter an unpleasant affair. I think it will only be unpleasant for you. So while we are talking, this is exactly what the Jedi mind trick is for. So while we are talking, Rhya concentrates, and now I gotta look at this document here. Now the thing is, I gotta make a check. Oh, I wrote her down her things here. So it's a mind trick which uses charisma. So she's gotta make a check. So d20 plus her check bonus, which is +3. And just as a reminder, it is 1 for charisma. And because charisma is not a primary attribute, it is 1/2 level. She is level 4, so she adds +2. So it is a +3 total. And she needs to get 15. 15 is always in this system the default target number. So I am rolling, and just let me see, because he gets a check to resist. So let me get to the force powers here. The power mind trick. Activate this technique with a charisma check. The target can resist with a wisdom check. On a success, you can plant minor suggestions, blah blah. So come on, Rhya, first check in the season, +3. Please, 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 please. No. All right, so Rhya, she tries to tap into this Gotel's mind, but because of his rather unique alien brain structure she is not able to, at least not in her first attempt. So it's like this: a successful attempt counts against her usage limits per day, which is her constitution check bonus. But she can try again, but it's always an action. So this is relevant, of course, in combat. But you know what? I'll give her one more chance while we're still talking, but with disadvantage now, just like as a last-ditch effort. So disadvantage, as usual, gotta take the lower one. Ah, no. Okay, so she just looks at me and shakes her head slightly. And so, and he motions with his hand, and two other people come out of this old abandoned building, a human and a Deveronian. And I go like, oh, I see you brought friends. Indeed I did. So what now? Deal or not? You pay, you get the cargo, or you leave. Or if you want to get in trouble, that's your choice. And I go, well, let's just assume we would be willing to pay. How much would we still have to pay? 1,000 credits per crate. So 10,000. 10,000, huh? Well, as you know, we are only the delivery people. So, of course, I have to back check this with my employer. Let's just say, give us 2 hours and then we will be back. Well, I think you misunderstand. What do you mean I misunderstand? As I said, we already had the expenses because it was more difficult than we thought. We lost people and we acquired these goods for you and we had the expenses. So there is no backing out now. We need to be compensated for our loss. So you can gladly talk to your employer, but as long as we don't have a clear answer, your ship stays here as a pawn, as a insurance policy, if you will. I don't think so. I'm not leaving here without my ship. Listen, we can settle this quick. Let me just make a quick call and then I'll get back to you. So we move away a little. They move around and I go like, well, Rhya, what do you think? It looks like, well, if we can't reach Tula, we got a problem. Then we need to take him. Try to take him or try to talk to Tula first. And she goes, well, let's try to talk to Tula first. Let's not make other people's problems our own. If Tula says it's all right, she pays, we can pay him and get the money back. And if it's not all right, well, then we gotta try to take him. This didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Indeed. So let me see if I can get a hold of Tula. All right, little OOC information regarding communications here. Because as you know, this is like space, and I've said this before. I don't have the rule book here now, but there are different kinds of communications, and one form of communications that is used by every ship and also like stationary bases and stuff is like a hyperspace transceiver. And a hyperspace transceiver allows for faster than light, almost real-time communications, but in a limited area. However, it is not that limited, so hyperspace transceivers of larger vessels can reach up to 100 light years. So to not make it too complicated, I'm playing it like this, that a hyperspace transceiver can cover a space sector. So with my hyperspace transceiver on my ship, I could reach any planet in this sector, and I can route my comm signal through the hyperspace transceiver. So it's almost like an Obi-Wan, I don't know, I think it was episode 2, when he asked his droid to boost the signal to reach Coruscant from, I think it was Geonosis where he was in episode 2. Basically it is like this, and then if Tula is near a hyperspace transceiver, and there are hyperspace transceivers on planets, the signal will be routed to her comm code. So just, I don't want to make it too complicated to talk to people if it's like in the way of the story. So, but this is how this works via hyperspace transceiver boosted through ships within the sector. So this is how this works. So yeah, let me hook up my comm link to my hyperspace transceiver and see if I can reach her. All right, folks, and at this little cliffhanger moment, we will end this first episode, because looking at the time, I'm already at an hour. Yeah, probably, as you can see, I'm enjoying this, like playing out these little encounters, and so no combat or dice rolling this time, but like I said, it's a dice game, and yeah, so far I was lucky, no random encounters, and this of course is now a tense scene, but we will continue this next time. So yeah, and then I get to put the system through the works, maybe with my first combat encounter. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, thank you for watching, and if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel and like and comment and do all this YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next video. As always, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.